Let's go break some hearts and tell some jokes. I was just gonna let that go for another 5 minutes and the song was over. Let us talk over it. Let us talk over it. It's all right. How's everybody doing? Appreciate you guys coming out. Appreciate you guys coming out for the My Hero Comedy Tour. Night. First of all, I want to get a couple thank yous out of the way. Thank you from the Nightcap for organizing this, having us. Thank you to Mr. Mike Ripple, who's walking away, for running the logistics. Allie for having her birthday and having her part in this as well. And Ezekiel for letting me be on here with him. I mean, we had the only black guy we had, so we had to have the whitest guy open for me. I'm like the reverse affirmative action part of the show. So, let's get some jokes. How about that? Oh, that's where the driver is, I swear. Okay. Anyway, so this is my first time opening up for somebody on their own paid show, so that's pretty cool. And a little nerve-wracking at the same time, but it kind of does remind me of the first time I was with a woman. There was a lot of sweat, shame, and tears, and for some odd reason, her dog humping my leg. Now I'm a guy that tends to, I think of things a little differently than most people, but maybe you guys can empathize with me. So I'm going to have a few random thoughts, and I just want you to mellow on them, think on them, and just, maybe it'll change your mind after tonight. So, when a deaf person gets arrested, do they lose their freedom of speech? In the same way, if a mime gets arrested, does he just not shut up? Is it like reverse? He just yells and screams, he gets in the holding cell, he's inside another cell. And then, do they have to have a mime interpreter to come in to figure out all the wacky shit he's trying to do if he stays in character? I don't know, I'm just asking questions here. You know, Chinese food is some of my favorite food. We used to have some great food, great Chinese food in this town with the Great Wall. Hy-Vee's not too bad. But one of my favorite things about Chinese food is at the end, you get a fortune, you get a little treat, and you get to know your future. But if you throw up the Chinese food, does it invalidate the fortune? So if better days are ahead or a promotion is around your corner, do you get like a piano dropped on you, like Looney Tunes style or something? I don't know. Once again, I'm just asking questions. I don't know if you guys saw last year or year before, I don't know. Time doesn't really, I forget time. Whenever we elected a new pope, when we elected a new pope, I got to thinking, when the old pope died, did he get promoted or did he beat me to death? And then in the same way, but not really at all, if someone has no arms, can they be charged with armed robbery? Now, I don't know if you guys saw, to piggyback off that, I don't know if you guys saw, there was a guy, quadriplegic, ended up killing his friend, dumping the body, whatever, but he basically had elbows and just knees. That's just freaking bonkers. But he had a little nub where he could pull the trigger, so he didn't have to have anything there. I'm starting to wonder, you know what, these guys have heard us call them dwarves and everything else all these years, and they probably don't even like little people, if I'm being honest, but what if these guys, and they're cousins of Gnomes, by the way, what if these guys are like secret serial killers, and if you piss them off wrong, they will just, because you're not expecting it, they will just, like, so I think we really need to be careful of that population, and just keep an eye on them. So has anybody been to a restaurant recently? No? Just one person? Thanks, otherwise this joke would go nowhere. But you've been to a restaurant recently, I'm sure, or sometime in your life, and you've noticed at the table, is ketchup, and sometimes it's fancy. Do you know what makes it fancy? This is gonna be a silly one, but what makes it fancy is there's like an extra 30% of solids in that versus the standard. And I got to thinking, well, we don't really do that for a lot of other things outside of like peanut butter. We've got creamy, we've got chunky. If you want to say hot dogs because they have cheese, but they still don't call them, they also don't call them fancy hot dogs either. We don't have fancy potato salad, we don't have fancy mac and cheese. So why did we pick that for ketchup? I don't know. Why did they pick that? Just something to ponder on. So I was in church the other day, and I was listening to the preacher, and he was talking about the miracles of Jesus. And, there's so many to pick from, and I thought to myself, man, if I could just pick one, which one would I pick? There's the feeding of the 5,000, there's raising of the dead, that most of you guys would probably pick, turning water into wine. But I chose walking on water. Not necessarily for the good reasons, and mostly just to screw with people. Because I think what I would start doing, I would do like a slip and slide right off the deck, or off the port, dock, whatever, onto a lake, and do all sorts of tricks like that. And then once, if there was a boat out on the deck or out on the lake, get out there and go, and try to, and if I scared somebody, boom, I'm right there, I've got them, I'm not a monster, I would save them. But I think my biggest claim to fame, my biggest gift to humanity would be, I want to fight a shark. Yes, exactly.
I want to watch.
Well, I'm about to describe to you how it's going to go, so it's going to go great. So I fight a shark, first punch him in the fin, get his attention. He comes up. We get into like a Jaws-style battle. We're going for like 20 minutes. Boom in his eye. He's coming up, popping his nose. He eventually retreats. He goes and tells his shark buddies that said, hey, humans have evolved. Stay away from the ones that can walk on water. As long as they're in the water, they're fine. Especially the black ones, they can't swim. So I'm working on an impression, and I want to see if are you guys familiar with John Cena is? Professional wrestler, actor, kind of known by the name, you can't see me. Oh look, I took a picture with John Cena. Okay, so I'm working on this impression, and I want you guys to let me know. Okay, ready? Here we go. Did you guys still see me? Okay, I'm still gonna work on it. I also have a couple theories about historical figures that I just don't know that I buy. We'll start off with Helen Keller.
Right.
So, deaf and blind? Yeah, I don't think so. I think it was, I think it was completely made up. Let me make my case. So, brief history, she's born in the late 1800s. She apparently goes deaf and blind by the time she's 19 or whatever, meets her husband, 22. He's the one that writes the books. It's the early 1900s. How in the hell are they translating between each other? They didn't have Google Translate. I mean, and he met her after she, like, really, how is she communicating with him? I mean, you can't write it down either. I really think this guy is just an expert con man. I mean, this is still the time of traveling circuses where you've got the bearded ladies and two-headed guys and whatever the hell else there was. I really think this guy was probably was about to get kicked out of his mom's house. He needed to get married. This was the first girl he saw because she couldn't see him if it was true. Because she was blind. He's probably ugly as shit. And he's like, oh man, I don't really want to work. What can I do? Oh, I know, I'll write. So he becomes a writer, puts a story together, and fantastic, it takes off. Now, assuming it is true, which, whether you believe it or not, it was late 1800s, Alabama. It could have just been inbreeding. Another one, maybe a little controversial, Stephen Hawking. Yeah, I don't think he needed that wheelchair either. I don't think he needed it. He was all an act. I think there was him and another neuroscientist were probably competing, and they were about to get to they were competing who would be the most popular one, and then got to a point where his buddy was probably about to get ahead of him, and man, how do I get ahead of this guy? I know, I'll jump in a wheelchair and talk like a robot. That'll make me seem smarter. And how do I know this? Because I saw pictures of Epstein Island, and there wasn't a damn wheelchair ramp on the entire place. Now, even assuming, let's assume for a minute, that everything on there is true, that everything happened, whatever. I mean, it's got to be the most giant tease that there would have had been. I mean, how much pleasure could he have really got on there? All he could really do was, oh. My next one, which I'm 1,000% convinced on, is Stevie Wonder. He ain't blind. He ain't blind. You can see clips of the guy catching a mic stand. I'm not going to do it because I will screw it up. But he has caught mic stands, so either the guy has spidey senses and is blind, or he isn't blind. So also an interview that Shaquille O'Neal did, where he shared a building with Stevie Wonder, and it was just him and Shaq in the elevator. Hey, big fella, how you doing? And Shaq's like, what the hell? It's just me and you, sort of thing. I mean, let's just be honest though. Assuming he was blind, the guy paid child support for kids that he's never seen. So why would you do that? I mean, anybody in here could have been Stevie Wonder's children. I mean, some of you older folks could be Stevie Wonder's children, and we'd never know. Okay, now, have you guys ever had a dream that, man, it was so real, felt so real, when you woke up, you're like, holy shit, I couldn't believe that. Ever happened to you? Happened to me. Oh, I thought you flipped me off or something, Allie, thanks.
Oh no.
Oh, I forgot I was going to plug the drink, by the way, yeah. I completely forgot about that. We also have the drink specials. Get mine, because mine's the best. And they're going to bring mine up right now. We're having a little competition between mine and Ezekiel's. And here is a perfect example of the Gamma Glow right here. Thank you so much. See, I've already got one vote right there. All right, back to my thing here. So I was heading home the other day. Rewind, remember, dream, just remember that, this whole thing. So I was heading home the other day, and I was right over here, went across the tracks, and I got in front of the depot, and I was about 5 minutes from home. So of course I had to check Facebook. I mean, who can wait till I get home? So I jumped to my phone real quick, and I'm scrolling through Facebook, and next thing you know, I'm like, oh shit, hopefully that was an animal. So I pull over, and I get out, and I look, I'm like, damn it, it's a guy. All right. And to make matters worse, he's got the bright yellow vest on. You know, I should have seen it. Okay. So what do? What would most people do in that situation? Most people will call 911 for help or do something. Not me. I grabbed that guy by his arms and I drug him to one of those trees that's over there. I sat him up like he was taking a nap. Now I took the vest off so it didn't draw attention to him, because that's the last thing I wanted to do. I threw the vest in my truck and I went back to my house. I drove back there as quick as I could. I jumped in my bed, put the covers over me like there was a monster underneath my bed or in my closet. I woke up like an hour later. I'm like, oh my God, that was the craziest dream I've ever had in my life. Holy cow. Okay, well, I had a couple errands to run, so I went out and I noticed I had some sort of red liquid, a couple dents in my truck that I didn't see before, and a yellow vest in my truck. And I just must be coincidence. I don't know. It was just kind of weird, I thought. So you guys ever had a friend that has some sort of allergy, and the only way you know it is if they tell you about it? It's like not an obvious one. Like someone has a cat allergy, for example. I have a friend that had a cat allergy, and I'm like, I don't believe you. So what I did is I found about 5 neighborhood cats, and I shaved them. And I put their hair all throughout my house. And then I invited that friend over. After 20, 30 minutes, you know, sneezing, puffy eyes, you know, all that stuff, I think I can put that one to bed that friend actually had a cat allergy. In a similar way, one of my daughters has a nut allergy. But it came from my ex-wife, so I'm like, once again, I don't know that I believe you. So, once again, you know, I'm slipping peanut butter in certain spots and whole peanuts in other spots. And after 3 trips to the ER and an investigation by DHS, I think I put that one to bed. All right. So I got another theory here. This has kind of been like an 80-year-old question that we've had in society. If you could kill baby Hitler, would you do it? Assuming before I do it, before I take this quick poll, everything exactly happens like it is. Like if you eliminate Hitler, everything still happens, all right? So, quick poll, if you could kill baby Hitler, would you do it? Raise your hands real quick. Nobody?
Well, wait, like the way you said that made me no different.
Everything still happens, even if you kill him. Even if you kill him.
No.
You don't kill him?
There
we go.
If you kill him,
I was expecting, well, somebody would be like, yeah, kill that motherfucker. I don't care.
Yeah, kill him.
Well, you're a fucking monster. You kill a baby? Why did you kill a baby? I mean, wait till he's at least a teenager. He's probably an asshole by then. I mean, he's a starving artist. He's probably doing things for money he's not proud of. He's probably not getting laid. At least by that time, he's probably earned it. Maybe even in his 20s. But kill a baby. You're a monster. Everyone's shaming you. Tim, what?
And buy a drink.
And buy her a drink, yes. And make sure you get Allie drinks since it's her birthday. All right. So last year, I don't know if you guys realized this, but we didn't have a single hurricane last year. So, death, no destruction, none of that stuff. Our southeastern part of the country, brethren, got away from it. And I think that really changed back in March with one simple act. When the Gulf of Mexico became the Gulf of America, Mother Nature knew not even to fuck with us anymore. Just a quick public service announcement as well. I don't know if you guys saw this, but last month there was an adult toy website that had bad reach called Tango. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. If you are, you probably aren't going to get it anyway. But I will say, if you see something about that, Nicholson is a very popular name. Don't think anything about that. All right, I'm going to go old man river here for a minute. We got, how old are you ladies over there, roughly? 30s? Yeah, you're getting a little too old for my joke. All right, well, this is targeted to people like in their 20s. You might still kind of figure it out. So I'm going to go old man river here for a minute because most of the younger generation, like my kids' age, they gotta be so philosophical with everything. Let me give you an example. You ever heard the term quiet quitting? Anybody heard quiet quitting? A couple of you. It's where you're just going to work, you're just doing the bare minimum, you're just kind of getting through. Same thing, bare minimum Mondays, very similar. Career cushioning, similar, but you're looking for a side job, you're updating your resume. Those are all just going to fucking work while we were younger. Like, what the hell? Like, why do you, anyway, quiet walking, you ever heard that term, quiet walking? Yeah, these geniuses just figured out how nature worked, and they just went for a walk. They didn't have shit in their ears. So, but my favorite one that's been recent is Alpine Divorce. You probably get an idea where this is going. So, just also another public service announcement, if you're with somebody, whether you're married, married, live together for a while, if something like this happens to you, maybe a red flag. So what happens is you go on for a hike. Hey, honey, let's go out for a hike. Yeah. All right, no problem. Let's go for a hike. And you just ditch them. Now, it doesn't specify whether it's like you leave them on taking a bathroom break or you kick them down a hill or something like that. It's just you ditch them. I mean, that used to be manslaughter, depending on what severity that is. I mean, if you kick them down a hill, that's probably manslaughter to me, but what does that conversation look like when you get back home? What the fuck was that? Oh my god, I wanted a divorce, I just didn't know how to tell you. So I thought, leaving you in the woods would be the best way to get it across. Yeah, sorry. I already told the kids, I called your parents. So you told me you laughed, yes, and I was hoping you wouldn't survive. So, in the wacky world of California, there was a guy that got arrested for butt sniffing. I don't know, did you guys heard about this? The guy got arrested for butt sniffing. And I got to thinking, man, what leads somebody to that? Because with anything else, it's not like you jump right into it. You know, if you're doing cocaine, you started with a smaller drug. You know, with butt sniffing, he probably started at smaller ones with different animals or whatever the case may be or whatever. He probably went to a therapist trying to get help. Probably tried everything to avoid this. But finally, the second time he got caught, and what's really tragic about it is that it's just an undiagnosed crack addiction. We got any healthcare professionals in the room? We got one here that she's not gonna claim it. Well, you can maybe help me. Anybody else around the rest of the room that I missed? Okay, let's all turn and look at her right there. No. Maybe you can help me with this though. I'm a little confused. So I was in the doctor the other day, and I noticed one of the microwaves on it said, "Do not microwave urine samples." I'm not a healthcare professional. I sell insurance. I'm a different kind of hero. I had so many questions I didn't know where to start. Because behind every sign is a story. Does it help read the samples better? Is it, I don't know, does somebody put it on somebody's salad as a practical joke? I don't know. I'm asking questions. Do you have anything on that you can help me with?
So they might test the temperature.
They might test the
Whether
temperature.
it's inaccurate.
To see if it's accurate. But why would you, so they would heat it up again to test the temperature?
No, a patient probably.
A patient
Yeah.
heated up their own urine sample? That's your, I'm not,
That's
I'm
my
just,
theory.
that's your theory. Does it not read dirty if you heat it up?
It has to be 98.6.
98.6?
Yeah.
You would
It's
know
gotta be
that,
the same
Mike.
temperature.
I haven't smoked any weed.
Lies.
Mike only drinks.
Either way, next time you go
Ellie
to your
drinks
healthcare
urine.
professional, hey, why do we heat up the urine samples? So let's get to my most controversial joke of the night. Alright, we're ready? Alright, everyone dig in for this one. So, I don't know if you guys watch the news at all, but we've gotten to a little kerfluffle with Iran, you know, it's kind of a little something. And right now, people's hairs are on fire, you know, World War III, oh my God, we're all gonna die, everyone's gonna get nuked, and it's just like, okay, pump the brakes, let's just pump the brakes for a minute. We got Donald Trump in charge, and one thing to remember about Donald Trump is that when he gets into military engagements that I've seen, it's probably what I would guess his dating life would be like in the 80s. Let me make my case. So in his first term, he hit Syria, killed al-Baghdadi, and killed General Soleimani. Bam. 3 one-night stands. In and out, we got out, we're not messing around. Next one, he finished off ISIS. That was the end of an LTR. We were both ready to go our separate ways. We just didn't know how to end it, so we're getting out of there. In between, we saw how the LTR went of Afghanistan. That was like, geez, it's like you left your hoodie, $5,000, your PlayStation, your dog at your wife's place, and she just won't give it back. So that was really, really bad. Now coming into the second term, we're kind of in a throuple with Ukraine and NATO. But we're not comfortable about the throuple, so we want to get out. We're still providing protection, contraceptions, missiles, whatever they need, but we're getting out of the main part of the relationship. Venezuela, boom, in and out, one-night stand. Wham, bam, thank you, man, 20 minutes. Which is probably most of his, but anyway. Next one. Greenland. Greenland's interesting. Because Greenland was kind of already seeing Europe, but we were trying to slide in there, you know, trying to like flirt. He probably sent some sex, probably sent some dirty pictures, you know. At the end of it, we're gonna stay friends. We'll come back to it later if something goes south. We nearly got that in our back pocket. Right now, with Iran, it's kind of a friend with benefits. We're kind of like, oh God, we're like a month and a half in. I'm kind of getting tired of this guy already. Like, the Strait of Hormuz is not the gaze of Hormuz, so I don't know if I like this or not. So let's get out. Plus, we have Cuba and Colombia as potential one-night stands on deck. I guess the moral of the story is that with Donald Trump in charge, and we're going to wave our dick around, chances are it's going to be one-night stands or real quick engagements, so nothing to worry about on that. So let's get you females back here. The female body is an amazing piece of art. All right? Can a couple of you agree on that? 2 people. Fantastic.
Hell yeah.
Jeez. So a couple of you can agree on that. So the female body is an amazing piece of art. And, you know, you guys have it so good in a lot of different ways because you guys can look good in a lot of different ways. A lot of different shapes and sizes. Us guys, we either basically got to be in a suit or shredded. Like 10% body fat, or we got to put more clothes on. I don't understand that part. There's like no in between.
More clothes.
It's like if you're 30 pounds overweight, you're like, nah, that's okay, but it somehow works for, you know. So, you guys also have a special talent that if your guy comes home, he's had a bad day, whatever it is, didn't get the sale, didn't get the promotion, whatever else, have a bad day, you want to put him in a good mood instantly, just give him a boob. Give him a boob, put it in his mouth. I have never seen a guy, gay or straight, not be happy with a boob in their mouth. It's like life's a little stressful. The bad thing is, though, it's attached to the most stressful thing in men's life. Got your back and smacked. It's like a backhanded one there. Alrighty. You guys are cool. I appreciate this. Alright. Did you guys see, this was just in the last week or two, there was some Chick-fil-A workers that got fired for a viral video. Any of you guys see that? One guy, one bald guy, and a bad guy. Thanks. The whitest guy besides for me got it. All right. So there was this viral video that went around, and they were Chick-fil-A workers, and they were bigger girls. But, okay, they just had big tits, and they were huge. They were bigger girls, so they were just bouncing on it. Okay, so it's just a bit, you know. Then there was one of the guys that did it too. Chick-fil-A, private company, they can do whatever the hell they want. You know, I didn't have necessarily an issue with the women doing it because not like something I've ever seen it before. The problem I had was the manager who was doing it and his stupid little man boob A-cups were flopping around like this. And then he turned around to try to do something with his ass. And I'm like, dude, you're the manager. Like, at least you got to put on a better show than that. But Chick-fil-A is so committed to service. What they don't tell you in that story is that the customers were just coming in ordering chocolate shakes and that they were giving them what they wanted. So I mentioned this earlier, and I don't know if it's obvious from my set so far, but I'm divorced. My misery, the biggest laugh of the night. I appreciate it. So I'm divorced, and I noticed when I got on the dating scene a little bit, you know, online, you get on 700 different sites, hoping to try to find Mrs. Right, and keep striking out. Anyway, Anyway, I noticed that you females have a lot of tattoos anymore, and I guess it's just something I wasn't familiar with. And I'm not here to bash your tattoos; it's whatever. I don't really care. But it's kind of like putting bumper stickers on a sports car. Like if you come up to a four-way stop sign and a Porsche's in front of you, does it add value that you know that there are kids and honor students at whatever elementary or coexist or whatever Mickey Mouse thing they want to put on there? But for full disclosure, I have two, and one of them is an elephant right here. The trunk is mine, and I also have a tramp stamp of property of Ezekiel. So that's how I got the spot. That's how I got the spot. One of the other bad habits I picked up during my divorce is I start having a cigar at night. So I had a cigar at night. It's kind of my way of winding down. I don't drink outside of this, which you should go get some. I don't really drink, so I got cigars, and I'm just kind of a cheapskate about it at first. So I'm just kind of getting a decent one and just trying to feel out. I finally found one I liked, and then it started to become harder and harder to find that one. Bouncing around a little bit, and finally, I was like, you know what? Let's go nuts. Let's go to the next one up. Let's go to the next one. The next one is a little more girthier. So I got that one home. Keep that in mind. I got that one home. I unwrapped it, and I was like, oh my. It was obviously a little bit bigger in my mouth. I wasn't expecting it. It was, I get about halfway through it. My jaw's hurting a little bit. I'm like, I am powering through this one. I'm not going to waste this one. So I'm going through it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. This is fantastic. I'm like, oh wow. Got done, and I felt like I had to have a cigarette, but you know, I didn't. But about an hour later, I'm like, man, that one was so good, I want another cigar. But I didn't have another one of the bigger ones, so I got one of the regular ones. And it was fine, you know, it was fine. It did the job, but you know, it was okay. It wasn't quite as, you know, obviously there was something missing. So guys, don't let her tell you the size doesn't matter, because if cigars are any correlation with that with me, you know, they're full of shit. So they say you're perfect, you're fine. No. So once again, divorced. One more divorce joke for you guys. Ultimately, if you get divorced and you have kids, yeah, your partner's gonna start seeing some other people, and it got to a point where, you know, when my kids were like, "Oh, mom's boyfriend was talking crap about you," and I'm like, "Whatever, I don't care. I don't really get too worked up about it." Then I got to thinking. 20 years together, 3 hip surgeries. I wore that shit out. I'm the real winner here. This guy got my leftovers. You guys almost ready for Ezekiel? 2 of you, perfect. Too long night. All right, looks like I got one more left for you guys. So, any Swifties in the crowd? Swifties? Nobody's gonna admit to it, just because I'm gonna make a joke about Taylor Swift. This guy over here, is he a Swiftie?
Oh, yeah.
See a Swiftie right there?
Taylor Swift. Come on now.
He's probably got posters on his ceiling, Taylor Swift, doesn't he? There you go. You got your mirror on your wall right next to your Taylor Swift poster. So, Taylor Swift is a serial killer, and I'm gonna make my case. So, this is about a year ago at this point now, a body was found not too far from her residence in New Hampshire. They might say, Nick, that's one body. I mean, that was the 13th body in that 6 months around her spot, around her place. Okay? Yeah, it's real now, isn't it? 13th body. Now, if we're being honest, she's probably trying to tell us this for years. Look at some of her song titles. I Knew You Were in Trouble, Death by a Thousand Cuts, Blank Space, I'll Write Your Name. There's a lot there to try to tell us. Now, you might say, Nick, that was a year ago. What now? What did she do all summer? She went on her Eras tour. She took her murderous rampage all around the world, over to Europe and South America. And do you think anybody around the world is going to arrest the biggest pop star on the planet? Not a chance. It'd be like locking up Michael Jackson for pedophilia in the 80s. It just wasn't going to happen. And you might say, Nick, okay, that was the summer. What about the fall? Well, fall comes around. What does she do? She gets engaged. So what happens? Travis Kelce figured out she was a murdering psychopath. So he had a choice. She probably told him he had a choice. Either you die or you marry me. So he took the high road. So he got engaged. What did he do all season? He had one of the worst years of his career. Probably so distracted if he looked at the wrong moment, he would go home and get murdered. What did the Chiefs do last year? Nothing. Correct. Taylor Swift took down the entire Chiefs kingdom all by herself. And for that, we thank you. Now, back to the original one, of course. You know, the local authorities don't consider Taylor a suspect, but that's just typical because in America, we don't lock up our celebrities for murder. I mean, OJ went to the grave still trying to find the real killer.